Welcome to the Real Healing Institute. My name is Michelle Sinclair. I am a teacher of the Christ letters. Now, no one can rob a person of their importance except the person himself by his denial of his value. No matter if a person is born handicapped, they still have their unique place of importance in the family, the environment. Sometimes they occupy a greater position of importance than if they'd been born whole and perfect. Their achievements arouse wonder and respect. The impact they make on their environment depends entirely on their will to be, their will to act, their will to radiate goodwill, and their will to make the most of their opportunities, their will to be special for people by making other people feel better than they did before the contact took place. Every condition arises out of the will, which is exercised at all times. Such a person will have contributed life to his environment because the nature of the life force is unconditional love and service, work and harmony, giving whatever is needed for the fulfillment of the needs of another. In each day, your life force is spent in just giving if your life spent is giving just a cup of coffee or tea to people who are sick, then let that life force be spent in its highest form. As eager willingness to walk to the patient with a warm smile and hand over the tea with kindness, goodwill, and a desire for the healing of the person. In such a way, a tea giver can become a radiant medium of healing and upliftment. The more frequently the tea giver calls silently for an inflow of divine consciousness into her own consciousness, the greater and more penetrating will her radiating life force to the patient be. The sick person may not be aware of what's happening, but a room full of sick people attended by such a tea giver or carer will recover more swiftly than those who receive their tea from one who hands it to them without a glance of recognition, without a word, without a kindly thought. No, each job, each moment can be sacred and beautiful, radiant with the inflow of divine consciousness, life force, uplifting, healing to the self and others. If a person takes the time to realize that he or she is a channel of divine consciousness, which is itself all healing, all protection, all fulfillment of a person's every need. One person, even one who cleans the floors and empties bedpans, possessing such a realization, can enter a room and become the most important and perhaps the only distributor of good among 6 people handing out bedpans. Such a person can leave behind a legacy of increased strength in every patient. Every single person who realizes that from their eyes is radiated potent life force to those at whom the vision is directed, can know that their glance, that penetrating look, that smile gaze, has benefited the one who received it. For everything, yes, everything that you and I, the Christ, think and do is an act of consciousness. And consciousness is life force. With the activity of your minds, yours and mine, we shape our consciousness, our life force, into different forms which will bless or curse the environment. A cup of water handed to someone with love can bless and uplift that person, or if handed out with ill feeling, can make the recipient feel small and of no account, a little weaker, and more depressed. Everything that we do, every single act that we have, everything that we do, we can do out of a wonderful life-giving energy or out of nothing, or one that is even lower. I know this saying, sometimes people are not thoughtful about their lives. They're not thoughtful about the things that they do. They're not thoughtful about the way that they act and the way that they behave. Let's take this for an example for a moment, and of course you already know this. When you walk into a store, and you're going into a retail store, looking to buy something, and you are greeted warmly by someone who acknowledges, oh look, there's a person in the store, hello, welcome to the store, and they look at you kindly and sweetly, how do you feel? Versus if you walk into a store and the clerk ignores you, pretends as if you're not even there. Or perhaps somebody looks up from their desk looking rather annoyed that, oh, I need to serve another customer. How do you feel then? These small acts are not small acts. What they are is showing us somebody's internal state, how it is that they view the world, and the type of consciousness that they radiate from themselves. This is why sometimes you feel really good when you're in certain places, and in some places you feel really bad. You might leave a store and think, oof, I couldn't get out of there fast enough. What you were experiencing was a consciousness vibration that probably didn't match yours, which is why it felt so extremely uncomfortable. But the only thing that we can attend to is our own consciousness. And so if we have anything in our consciousness that is not radiating love. Now, I know, I knew this woman, and she would always say, oh, I love this person, but then would go on to complain about that person or say what it is that she actually didn't really love about that person. It was as if she was paying lip service to the fact that she knew that she needed to love people, but she actually didn't. Now, the only thing that was what I was witnessing in this was extreme jealousy, was unacceptance of other people and their gifts and their talents. And this came across as, you know, oh, I'm so nice, but secretly not actually nice, not actually wishing well for the other people. In fact, not even wanting these people around that they were, you know, placating, pretending that they were happy were there. Now, I found this odd and confusing because this person knows what it is that they're supposed to be doing. They are very well aware. I know I need to do this, but I just can't do it. I'm unable to do it, but I want to be able to do it. So their heart truly was in the right place. They're saying the right things. They're trying to do the right things, but they're unable. It is like someone who has an addiction that's like, I know I need to quit doing this, but I just can't make myself. Why? What is it that is in there that is not allowing for this? I will tell you. There is deep healing that needs to be done. In the case of the person who says, you know, pays lip service, oh, I love this, but they secretly don't. What they are really saying is, I want to love myself, but I don't. And so they are seeing it reflected in other people. They are seeing things in other people that they believe that they don't possess in themselves, and that they are angry at themselves for not possessing. And so all of their internal anger that they have at themselves, they are projecting outside. Here's the thing. Let's say you had a weight issue and you judged people about their weight. Once you heal that issue within yourself, you no longer judge people about their weight issue because you no longer have a weight issue. Let's say that you judge people for their addictions, and you're judging and you're judging. Maybe it's not the same addiction that you have that you're judging someone else for, but as soon as you heal your addiction, you will stop judging other people about their addictions because you will have healed it in yourself, and the only thing you are seeing is a reflection, and it's upsetting you because it's reminding you of work that you have not done within yourself. This is all subconscious. You're not thinking through these things of, oh, I'm judging that person because of this or that, but I'm telling you the hidden meanings underneath what's truly going on. So when these things stop bothering you, actually stop bothering you, it is because they're not an issue for you anymore. You're aware of them, you've healed them, maybe you're working through them. But as long as these things remain unaware within us, we will project and judge on other people, and we will think it is about them when it is 100% about ourselves. So my friend Sarah down in Peru, she is, kind of constantly on somewhat of a dieta, living down by herself. And so she said, hey, do you want to join me in this? And sent out something that's like, oh, for the next couple weeks, here's something that we need to work on. This is what we're working on this week. And so this week was truly being honest with yourself about how you feel about certain members of your family, and about cultures, and about your religion. And so it was just asking yourself like a few questions of truly, how do you honestly feel? And so I thought, things are pretty good. I've worked through a lot of stuff. And so it was like, okay, what's still there? And so I brought something up. I wrote something down. And, something that was bothering me. I know this rule, what I just told you guys. So I'm like, okay, well, if this is bothering me about this person, where does this come from? Where is this within me that I am now seeing this on the outside? So I take my little list and I go in and I follow it back. And I got to be honest, once I do work, it's done, it's cleared, it's gone, it's out of my mind, it's actually gone for good. But I went back and I found the root of the issue. And then when I read my list again, my list didn't upset me at all. It was like, oh, okay, done. Simple, easy. So if something is upsetting us, if something is bothering us on the outside world, it is always about us, man. Every single time. It's never not. And I know some situations it's like, okay, but this is the exception. But there is actually no exceptions. I know, but there's actually not. It's always about us. And typically the things that upset us the most, extremely the most, are the ones that we are so unaware of in ourselves that we haven't looked at. So let's say that you were like, oh, I just can't stand people that lie. But you yourself do not outwardly lie to anybody. And you're like, okay, that's not true. Like, I don't lie. Okay, but do you lie to yourself? Do you perhaps tell yourself things that aren't true? Do you perhaps talk yourself out of feeling certain ways when you really do feel a certain way? I bet that you do. And as soon as you stop doing that, it's not going to bother you that other people lie. Yes, you're going to be aware of it. Yeah, you're probably not going to associate with those people. You're not going to believe a word that they say, but it's not going to bother you. You're going to be like, yeah, I know I can't trust a word that person says. And then you're going to choose whether you associate with them or not. But it's not going to actually bother you anymore. So if something really bothers you, this is why. So when we look at our life and what it is that we're doing, what type of consciousness forms are you sending out? When you meet someone, are you genuinely happy to meet them? Are you genuinely happy to see them? Because the person can pick it up, right? Just like you can pick it up. If somebody comes and they got some kind of weird energy and you're like, oh, that was an odd interaction. You're right. It was an odd interaction. You read the energy and it was odd energy. So something was up with that. So people can feel when something is genuine and when it is not. Most people can, unless they're so clouded that they can't. This happens too. Or if someone's on an extreme amount of medication, or if they're completely unaware of themselves, yeah, the person's probably easily foolable because they're not really, they're not being themselves. Therefore, it distorts all of the energies that are present. And you say, how can somebody not be themselves? Well, very often people won't be themselves because they'll be afraid to be themselves. They'll feel like they won't be accepted. They're going to subvertly placate the people that are around them without the people around them even knowing that that's what they're doing, just to please them. It's as if they're walking on eggshells. Maybe they feel like they need to be, maybe they don't feel like they need to be, but this is how they operate, of like, I'm just going to stay here under the radar. So anyways, when you are emitting a good positive energy that is pure love, this is received by your recipient. They're going to see it in your eyes. Now, when I went out to the aquarium, this was like, I don't know, several months ago. I was there with my kids, and we all go out to it's one of the best aquariums actually in the entire world. This place would blow your mind in Springfield, Missouri. It's just amazing. So I'm walking through this, and my gaze, if I was to make eye contact with somebody, I can be sending them a lot of information through that. Like there's an energetic almost hook that you could feel if I'm, intending to do this on purpose. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm actually going to do this with the fish. And so I was going around and I would catch eye contact with the fish and it would stop swimming and it would just come over and it would stare at me. Now, if you know me, and let's say you've been watching some of the other videos too of just different downloads and things that I would do, I would be sending and receiving a lot of information. And so what I was doing with these beautiful fish, which if you hadn't heard the story about the other fish tank and the thing that happened and the fish having consciousness, man, we got to find that video. It was pretty amazing. Maybe I'll tell you later here today. Anyway, so this fish, I'm making eye contact with this, and I did this probably like 6 or 7 times while I was there. So I'm locking eyes with the fish. This might sound strange, but there was a deadlock on the pupils. And I could understand these fish were almost in a state of despair, because they're just swimming back and forth, and their thought was kind of like, what's the purpose? What's the purpose of this? And so as I'm looking at these fish, I'm like, okay, dude, I'm giving you a consciousness upgrade. I'm giving you all the information that I have, and I'm sending it to you. Now, this process probably took, I don't know, 5 minutes. I'm talking a deadlock. All the fish are swimming around, and the one is just standing here staring at me. And then I would go to another tank and do the same thing whenever I felt called. And this is a huge place. And so I'm understanding what's happening here, because I'm seeing it and I'm experiencing it, and I'm seeing this consciousness upgrade on an energetic level. And so then I leave there. And sometimes, you do this with other animals. Let me give an example here. So this might sound a little nuts, right? But animals are so perceptive. I would meditate in my mom's backyard, back around that same time, when I'm living in Joplin, and I would be sitting on the ground meditating. I would close my eyes. I'd go into it for maybe 45 minutes. I'd open my eyes, and there would be animals all around me. Whereas when I closed my eyes, there had been none. So I'm sitting there cross-legged. There's 3 bunnies, one like a couple feet away, one like maybe 4 feet, one maybe 5 feet. 3 bunnies just surrounding me. There was always 3. This would happen at my cabin too, but it was usually with ducks or other animals that would come around. But these animals are so intuitive, they're so perceptive, and they're like, dude, what is happening here? What's going on? Because they're feeling the energy, just like you feel the energy when you walk into a room or when you walk into a place, and certain places feel a certain way. They're picking up on this energy and obviously curious and in tune of like, what is happening here? What's going on? And so as I'm doing this, what I'm telling you to tell you this, I am radiating pure love. That is the only thing that is coming out. And so what is going to attract to that? Literally everything. What is going to heal from that? Literally everything. There's nothing that can't heal from it. But what happens? Okay, we're in this perfect state of love. Okay, then we get a phone call from our ex who's doing this and doing that, and then they put this heaviness on us, and we're like, and we have this stress, and what does that do? Well, it takes away a bit of that love. Then we're dealing with this situation over there, and this isn't happening, and that's not happening, and it puts the stress on us. And then what's happening? Okay, well, now we're experiencing that in our energy field rather than the love. And so how do we manage? How do we deal with this, but yet still live in the world? Like the monks, they got it great, man. They're sitting up in the mountains meditating. Frick, I could do that all day long. Radiate love to the whole world. Perfect. Sounds amazing. But when you're not going out and living in the real world, you don't even have the opportunity to develop mastery. Because you're not given the opportunity. How can you be like, oh, of course I could do this in this situation? Because trust me, man, when I'm up and I'm in this state of like heightened awareness and heightened whatever, it's like, oh yeah, nobody can do anything to me. But subvertly, when you allow yourself to have your consciousness dipped and lowered by being around certain energies, by having certain conversations, by allowing TV shows or this or that, or certain things that lower your frequency constantly, pretty soon all of a sudden you're like, oh, I thought I could maintain that, but I couldn't. And so then you've got to look at all the factors, all the things that have played into the account of why couldn't I maintain that? What's up? And it's always our mental attitude, right? We receive something and we think, oh, what a terrible thing. Just like what's going on with my ex right now. I'm like, oh, he's showing me all of these terrible things and it's affecting my daughter. And I'm thinking, oh, how horrible this is. But at the same time, I'm like, no, because I know everything is happening for us. And so even this too, and I don't understand how yet that this could be happening for us, but it's like, okay, but it is. So I need to look at this through the eyes of love. And as soon as it shifts, and as soon as you say, okay, but I know it's happening for us, and you really believe, because everything always has been, so why would this be any different? There's no exceptions. It's happening for us. Okay, this is too. What happens? Immediately your nervous system calms down. Immediately, rather than looking at that person as the devil, you can look at them as, okay, if it's happening for me, then this is a gift for me, and they're bringing this gift for me, so I need to be thankful. And I need to know that this was part of the plan. This is for whatever reason. And so then to be able to, and you know how much it takes, obviously you do, to be able to sit there and take someone who is intentionally trying to harm your child and to still have love and care that you're sending towards this person. Dang, it's dang near impossible. The only way that it is possible is through the love of the divine, and is through sitting there in meditation and thinking, okay, you've told me that everything is happening for me. So I know that it is. I don't understand how this is possible, but please just show me. Give me the light. And then you will have this calm and this peace and this love that will move inside of you, that will bring in this nice warmth and illuminate your brain. And you'll be like, okay, I don't know why, but I'm going to believe and I'm going to trust. And then you got to go through it second by second by second by second, having the right mental attitude. Because as soon as you allow yourself to get drugged back in there to that mother F, or whatever it is that you want to do, and whatever it is that you want to do to that person to just make them stop being the way that they're being, then you're getting drugged back into it. And you're allowing your consciousness to be dictated by some outside force that's not the divine. Because the divine don't get worked up like that. The divine doesn't get upset. The divine just sits there and knows, oh, every good and wonderful thing. Every good and wonderful thing. If you would only but see the heaven, if you would only but believe in it, I would show it only to you. And so then when we have these situations, which is very interesting, my friends who are so similar to me that I work with regularly, that, you know, they're same as me, are all going through this same type of process right now. And it's like, oh, okay, for the last couple years, we all been good, haven't had anything coming down the pipe that could disrupt us or that could upset us. I'd been told in August I was going to have an opportunity for mastery, and that many things were going to happen, that there's going to be opportunities, there's going to be this and that, all these things are going to happen in August. All of those things are happening now. And I remember thinking, like, what? What do you mean I'm going to have to go really deep and I'm going to have to find things inside? He was like, I already did that. And it was like, no, you'll see. Nope, you'll see. And probably a week and a half ago, I go into meditation, and I'm working through all of these things that are actually curses and things that were put on my family in freaking ancient times. So I was like, oh, this is the deep work. Like things I was totally unaware of that were in my lineage that were actually in my DNA that needed to be cleared out and healed. And like, what a deep, dark road that was to go down that and to go in there and to heal those things. But it presents at this certain time. And so all of my friends that are experiencing this, that's like, oh, this person has done this and these people are accusing me of this, and all of these like heavy, dense negative energies are coming in. And every single one of us are sitting there and saying to each other, I don't know what I have done that has caused this, because we know that we are the cause of everything that we're experiencing. And so it's like, okay, well, it's all these lessons that are coming up. Do you want to do this again? Do you want to do that again? You knew this about these people who have abused you. You knew this about these people who didn't pay you when they said that they would pay you. You knew it, that there was this feeling, that there was this, ooh, I don't know that I can really trust this person. And yet you ignored it and you allowed it and you didn't speak up for yourself. And now look where you're at. And this has happened for every single one. And it's like, okay, so we realize now we need to set up boundaries. We realize now that people have been abusing us and have been using us, and we have allowed it because our good hearts want to help these people. But it's like, okay, yes, you can still help people, but it needs to be done in a different way. And when these red flags come up, why are you ignoring them? Why are you talking yourself out of the way that you're feeling? Don't do this. Stand up for yourself. It helps everybody grow. Because as you point things out to other people, like, hey, I didn't know if you noticed this, but you've been doing this. And as you bring those things up, then these people too can look at themselves for introspection, and they can grow about those things. Because most people are just doing the best that they can. They're just trying to be good and trying to do good, and they don't know that they're not. And some people, yeah, sure, intentionally, they're not doing good, and they very well know it, and they will get their karma, and that's none of my business. But when you can retain the right mental attitude when you're going through things like this, first of all, you're not planting more seeds for things like this to come up again in the future. And second of all, you are then living in heaven rather than living in hell right now at this moment. Because I could be living in hell right now at this moment like my ex wanted me to. If you only seen the phone calls, then you would know that this was, done intentionally to harm and to hurt. But when you don't allow these things, okay, fine. You want to harm and hurt? Well, I'm not allowing that to penetrate my consciousness. I'm going to only send back out love so that this is what I receive in the future. Thank you for showing me who you are. Thank you for letting me know that I need to set boundaries up. Thank you for all of the things. You failed the interview. I guess we'll go with that. And so anyways, as we move forward here, having the right mental attitude. So when you go through difficult things, and when you go through these periods of times that are heavier or that are denser or that are lower frequency, know that they too play a part in the role, that they play a part in the game. When I look at what my ex did however many years ago, that I was so distraught and so upset, that was the worst thing I ever went through, but at the same time it was the hugest blessing because it set me free. Because I was able to gain enlightenment because of the deep suffering. It pushed me into my purpose, and so therefore it's a gift, and therefore what's presenting to me right now too is also a gift. And what has it allowed? It's allowed deeper connections with people who are going through the same thing. It's also allowed people who are just the same as me, who give all the time. And it has allowed these people to come together. And what happens when a bunch of givers all come together? Well, they keep giving. But then instead of you being the only one who's always giving, you are then receiving back, because a giver cannot receive and not give back. It's just not in their nature. They can't do it. And so it has allowed people to come together to help each other, to become true and genuine friends through this. And so even this has been part of the process. All of these perceivably negative things that are coming in are truly indeed the gifts. So whatever position that you're in now, I was thinking of that, Japanese culture. They're just so lovely. There's so many wonderful things about them. So thoughtful, mindful, lovely, wonderful. When they hand a cup of water to someone, they do it with two hands, and they look them in the eye, and they hand it to them, and they kind of bow, and they're like, here, this is for you. I'm giving you this water. There's even intention and thought that goes into handing somebody a cup of water. How wonderful and blessed an experience of just handing someone a cup of water can be when you make it so. Or you can be like, here you go, and hand somebody water and quench their thirst and do whatever, and do it with little thought other than I've given them this cup to quench their thirst. That's very lovely. Of course it is. But where can we add more love? This is what when I was sitting outside meditating several weeks ago, I just had this overwhelming thing of like, how can we give more love in the world? How can we give more love? And so how can we do it? We can do it through little acts like this. When we hand somebody a cup of water, first we can pray over it. We can speak words of loving intention that we can put into it. And then we can hand it to that person with eye contact, with thoughtfulness of here. You're in my presence. I'm so glad that you're here with me. And I love you, obviously, because I'm handing you this cup of water. I've invited you in my home. And I want you to know that you are very welcome here and that your presence is appreciated here. And how different does that feel than going into somebody's home where you feel a little uncomfortable, maybe you haven't been there before, and you have this I'm new here kind of feeling, and you feel a certain way. How much more lovely and wonderful can it be if somebody could really make you feel welcome, feel the warmth coming from them, feel the love that you are extending to them. This changes things for people, and the thing of it is, we don't need to wait to give somebody a cup of water to do this. We can do it with every word and with every act and with every gaze that we have. We can walk down the street and we can make eye contact with people, and we can make genuine eye contact with people, and through that contact we can send them all the love with our intention. I am sending them the information and the knowledge and the wisdom that I have of the love and the consciousness and the divine consciousness that is within me, and through my gaze and my smile I am sending some of that love to them, and I know that it will be received by them. And when you believe and when you think in this way and when you do this, you will see what happens to the people that you look at. They oh, they receive that energy. And it's almost a shock to their system, because how many people go around doing this? Not very many, but you're going to do it now as you thoughtfully, intentionally look at people, as you thoughtfully and intentionally engage and send your energy to people. And as you do this, you are spreading life force energy. You are spreading actual life energy into these people, and it will be received by them. If you've ever seen that, it was like this study that was done, it was quite some time ago, I'm thinking like the 70s, when they were picking up on people's auras and they were visually seeing these through a camera and seeing what happens when other people come into your energy field. And truly, you do absorb their energy, like the energy fields mix and mingle. And so what a wonderful thing it would be, especially if you're a giver, if you could leave every person that you make eye contact with a gift of energy and know that it is truly actually received in their energy system. They'll start to feel better. They won't even know why. You'll know why. It doesn't matter if they know why, because on a subconscious soul level, they intuitively will know why. And then their energy force will be uplifted, and then they will be radiating a higher energy force to others as well. So it doesn't just stop with the one person that we help, that we send our love to. It expands like a wave, like a ripple that goes throughout the world. And so what a wonderful gift this is that you can give. When you mindfully, thoughtfully give your energy and your love and your attention and your kindness to other people. And this really begins with yourself. So begin by giving it to yourself. Go stand in front of the mirror and send yourself some radiating, loving, amazing, beautiful life force energy, and tell yourself, man, I love you. Let's go spread this love in the world. So I love you guys. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you guys in the next one. I do private sessions. If you want more information about that, you can check out therealhealinginstitute.com. Most people just come to me for a couple of sessions. I will also be doing some spiritual circles here that you will be able to also attend, and I will get some information to you guys out about that at some point here very soon. Love you all so much. Take care. See you in the next one.